The equilibrium changes we've investigated so far all were initiated by some change on the supply side, some change in the costs of the firms. But of course it could also be that there's a change in an equilibrium that's initiated on the demand side, because demand either increases or decreases. We'll show here what happens when there is an increase in market demand. We'll begin with an initial short-run equilibrium in which the short-run market supply curve intersects the market demand curve at the equilibrium price P star with output quantity X star in the industry. The firm's short-run supply curves sum to the short-run market supply curve, and in order for this short-run equilibrium to be consistent with the long-run equilibrium condition that no firm has an incentive to enter or exit, it must be that the long-run average cost curve of the marginal producer reaches its lowest point at the equilibrium price P star. An increase in market demand causes a rightward shift in the market demand curve, which in turn causes the short-run equilibrium price to increase to P prime and the short-run output in the industry to increase to X prime. At the new price P prime, each firm will produce along its short-run supply curve a quantity X prime indicated in panel B. Thus each firm produces more, and the industry overall produces more, with the same number of firms in the short run. But since price now lies above average cost, there's an incentive for new firms to enter in the long run. As this entry of new firms happens, the short-run market supply curve begins to shift to the right, putting downward pressure on price, and this downward pressure continues as long as there are positive profits to be made by entering the industry. In the long run, price must therefore again be driven down to the lowest point of the long-run average cost curve of the marginal firm, and when all firms are identical, this implies that price will be driven right back down to the original market price, P star. In the new long-run equilibrium, firm production will therefore fall back to what it was originally, but the industry produces more because there are now more firms in the industry. We can also show this long-run change in a different set of pictures that focuses solely on the long run. We'll begin with the original equilibrium picture, with the original equilibrium price P star and the original equilibrium industry quantity X star. For the industry to be in long-run equilibrium, it again has to be the case that the lowest point of the long-run average cost curve of the marginal firm falls at the equilibrium price P star. When all firms are identical, this implies a flat long-run market supply curve at the equilibrium price P star. So long as the number of firms is fixed in the short run, the shift in the demand curve then causes us to slide up the short-run market supply curve, leading to the magenta equilibrium with the magenta equilibrium price and quantity in the market. But the intersection of the new market demand curve with the long-run market supply curve gives us the long-run equilibrium, where the price goes back to P star and the output quantity rises further. An increase in demand will therefore cause a short-run increase in price and an increase in output in the market, and a further long-run increase in output, with price dropping as firms enter the market. When all firms are identical, price drops back to the original price, and if firms were not identical and we had an upward sloping long-run market supply curve, price would settle somewhere above the original price but below the short-run price increase.